I want to talk about Week 5 recap of Week 5, and my thoughts on Week 5, the NFL through 5 weeks so far. I want to talk about the Colts and the Patriots. The Colts just don't have enough around Andrew Luck, man. This is like what Andrew. I know Andrew Luck went through about a year and a half of injuries, dealing with his shoulder. But it's like what Andrew Luck's fifth or sixth year. And yes, he had some early success early in his career. You know what I'm saying? Going to the AFC Championship game and things of that nature, going to the playoffs back to back years. But they don't have enough weapons around. Andrew Luck. He just doesn't have enough weapons around him to be. They don't have a running game. They have, you know what I'm saying. They have a decent wide receiver. Okay, he's a little bit more than decent, but like I said, they do not have enough weapons around Andrew Luck for Andrew Luck to be able to get everything they need to get out of Andrew Luck. Now, I don't like the way that the NFL is trending. The NFL is trending to quarterbacks dropping back and passing the ball like 50 times a game. Like, I'm looking at looking at a lot of box scores, after these games and not realizing like these quarterbacks are throwing the ball like an average of 40, 45 times a game. Like that shows me that there's no balance because in any given NFL game, there's only about 70 to 75 offensive possessions, and you using about 45 to 50 of them passing the ball. So in Sunday's game versus the Patriots, Andrew Luck threw the ball 59 times. 59 times, and they rushed the ball 23 times, a total of 23 times for 86 yards. That's ridiculous. That's no You cannot win on a consistent basis in the National Football Team. Most teams can't. Now, teams like the Saints can probably get away with it. Teams like the Rams this year can probably get away with it, even Kansas City. But look at the offensive weapons those teams have around them. Look what Patrick Mahomes has to work with in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? He has Kareem Hunt at the backfield. You know what I'm saying? The dynamic wide receivers that he has with Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill and those guys. He has, and the tight end, what's that guy named Kelsey. So he have crazy amount of weapons where you don't know really where he's gonna go with the football at all times. You know what I'm saying? And in the with the Rams they got Todd Gurley, and they got those two Woods and Cap is his name Cap, and they got another wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? And they just got a lot of weapons. You know what I'm saying, for that team to work with and Jared Goff to work with as a quarterback. But Andrew Luck doesn't have those weapons. And to me, it's unacceptable for him to throw the ball 59 times. That's ridiculous. That's why they're struggling. And the man just came off a shoulder, being on shoulder injury for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and you passing the ball 59. I mean, you would think out of any team in the National Football League that the Indianapolis Colts will be more balanced than anybody, being that your quarterback just came off almost a career-ending shoulder injury, and now y'all passing the ball an average of 40 to 45 times a game. You know what I'm saying? Like back when I used to look at football, I started looking at football like the early '90s. It was a thing for quarterbacks to pass the ball 30 times a game. You know what I'm saying? Because the NFL was more predicated on more balance. Because when you get further into the season, as it started getting colder, as the wind start picking up outside these stadiums, especially the teams outside. Now the Colts, they're not outside, but they got to play outside games, and they got to play in some cold weather games. So as that start happening, if you don't have a running game, then you're gonna struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's only a few teams that should be even, and those teams shouldn't even be throwing the ball like that. Like you got a running back in the backfield with Kareem Hunt talent and Todd Gurley talents, You know what I'm saying? Rams and Kansas City shouldn't be throwing the ball that much. You feed the running back. Use some play, because if you feed the running back, guess what? You could use play action pass. If you can't feed the running back, you have no play action pass. You become predictable on offense. So the Colts got to start getting some weapons. What they need to go after Le'Veon Bell in the offseason. That's who the Colts need to go after. Now, if they can get Le'Veon Bell, it can add another weapon to for Andrew Luck to be able to pass the ball to. But I sit up there. I watched the Green Bay Packers in the Lions game. Surprised it was Aaron Rodgers did have two of his main weapons hurt. He had two of his wide receivers out, and they had to go with some backup wide receivers, which those guys didn't do too bad, but they are not the threats that Allison and Randall Cobb is. So I'm not gonna say Aaron Rodgers struggled, because he didn't throw any interceptions. Now, this is another team that Aaron Rodgers attempted 52 passes. 52 passes. And they rushed the ball a total of 13, 14, 15, 16. They ran the ball a total of 20 times. How can you win in the National Football League attempting only 20 rushing attempts a game? Like, there's no balance. Like I said, you become predictable on offense. When a team knows you're gonna pass the ball most of the time, guess what? They can pin their ears back, and here come the pass rush. Because just about every team has guys that can get to the quarterback. That's what they drafting in the NFL nowadays. They drafting guys that can get to the quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers, coming off a broken collarbone, I knew it was his other shoulder, but he passed the ball, attempted the ball, passing the ball 52 times. Now, he threw for 442 yards with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, but, they came up short. They lost 23-31. Todd Montgomery, I don't know what happened to Todd Montgomery, because the last couple of years, Todd Montgomery has went down. Now, Todd Montgomery is a guy that there was a wide receiver that they made a running back. So, he's not used to being a traditional running back. So that can be, but he was successful early when they put him at running back. But I don't know, maybe he's taking too many hits. You know what I'm saying? Maybe his body can't hold up. It's not holding up to those type of hits. But it is what it is. The Steelers totally dominated the Falcons, 41-17. Now, I'm not surprised, because when you're dealing with dome teams like the Falcons, the Saints, the Colts, when you're dealing with those teams that play on the inside, when they get on the outside, they offense drops off dramatically when they come out on the outside, and that's been tradition throughout the NFL with dome teams. That dome teams don't put up the same numbers they put up, outside of the dome, because in the dome, it's weather control. You don't have no wind. It's not that cold. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have that sun beaming in your face or stuff like that. So I'm always cautious of, if I am picking, teams to win games, I'm always cautious, picking the Falcons and the Saints when they outside the stadium. Now, when the Falcons and the Saints play in their domes, they put up video game numbers, especially Drew Brees. That Ravens-Browns game was real good, though. That Baker Mayfield played very well. He made a couple big-time throws down the stretch in order for them to get in field goal range. With the field goal kicker hit that knuckleball field goal and then went in. But it was a bad day yesterday for field goal kickers, especially the Packers field goal kicker. I believe he missed 3, and he missed an extra point. If the field goals that he missed, if he would have hit that in the 2, I think he missed 2 extra points. The 2 extra points he missed, they would have won the game or been right there to win the game. So it was a bad day for field goal kickers yesterday. I believe, who else? I was looking at another game a kicker missed a field goal. Was it the Eagles or the Vikings? Somebody missed a field goal. But, yeah, it was a tough day for field goal kickers yesterday. Tough day. The surprise game that surprised me was the Jaguars versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs was able to control the game. Patrick Mahomes, he didn't have a huge day, but he's been doing the last couple of weeks. He made the plays he needed to make down the stretch. They had a little balance from. he had a little balance from Tyreek Hill. See, they ran the ball 22 times. See, the Chiefs ran the ball. See, they only threw the ball 38 times, and they ran the ball 22 times. But that's Mike Holmgren. Mike Holmgren is from the old school of that balance. That's more like that. That's more like back in the day balance. The quarterback throwing the ball, 38 times, and they rushing like they had a total of 26, 27, 28, 29. They had a total of 30 rushing attempts, 30 to 28. Now that's great. They won a football game. I'm not saying you're gonna win a football game every time you have balance, but you have to have balance with a good team. If you're gonna win, if you're gonna win most games. But the Chiefs has that. The Chiefs have that. Now, you know what I'm saying. I thought the Jaguars would give them a more of a defensive struggle, but Kansas City they have offensive. See, they have Kelsey. They have Kareem Hunt. They have Tyreek Hill. They have Kelsey. So they have a lot of people that you have to worry about. They have Sammy Watkins now. So they have a lot of weapons. You know what I'm saying? So even with a team as talented as the Jaguars and as talented as my Chicago Bears, as talented as the Cleveland Browns, as good as the Cleveland Browns defense is playing and talented, and the Ravens, teams like Kansas City, the Rams, who else? The Saints, the Falcons, to some respects, those teams can make your defense look bad because they have a lot of weapons. They just have a lot of weapons, and when you have a lot of weapons and you have a quarterback that can get the ball to those weapons, it could be a tough day for a defense. So the Jaguars, Jaguars struggled. They 3-2, but they struggled. I thought the Chargers and the Raiders was going to be a shootout, man, because both of these teams got bad defenses, especially the Raiders. They both got bad defenses, so I was expecting these guys to have a shootout, but the Chargers was able to hold the Raiders to 10 points. The Raiders just struggling, man. That's another team that Derek Carr does not have any weapons. No, he don't have any weapons either. He's in the same boat as Andrew Luck. I mean, I know he got Cooper, but Amari Cooper is not playing as well as he played 2 years ago. For some reason, he just dropped off. Like, he almost dropped off the map. So that's another team. They got to start getting some weapons around Derek Carr because Derek Carr has shown that he's injury prone, just like Andrew Luck. I seen a lot of this game. The Vikings and the Eagles. The Eagles having the same problem. The reason why the Eagles are struggling this year is plain and simple. Last year they were more of a balanced offense. This year they passing the ball way too much. They are another team that's caught up in that passing the ball too much. Like I said, it's okay to pass the ball. You have to have balance. Now, they only passed the ball 35 times, but get this, they only rushed the ball 17 times. So even though Carson Wentz didn't attempt 50 passes like Andrew Luck, or Andrew Luck attempted almost 60 passes, he didn't have any balance. They only ran the ball 18 times. You can't run the ball 18. Now the Vikings have been struggling on defense as of late, but if you're going to be one-sided, on offense and not have any balance, then the Minnesota Vikings are going to be able to make adjustments and be able to stop you doing what you're doing. Now, Carson Wentz didn't have a bad day throwing the football. He was 24-35. You know what I'm saying? Over 50%. I mean, yeah, over 50%. And he threw for 311 yards with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So he did fairly well, but the problem was no balance. Not running the football, man. You got to run that football, man. You can't get away with passing the ball like that all season long. The Cowboys and the Houston Texans, this game was frustrating because the Cowboys had the ball on, the 45-yard line or something like that. It was, they had 1 yard to get. Now, this comes down to the offensive line kicking somebody butt at the point of attack. If your offensive line can't get 3 yards when you need 3, 2, or 1 yard, especially 1 yard, then there's something wrong with them. You got to kick. You got to kick. If you need 1 yard you know what I'm saying, to continue your drive down the field and win a game, your offensive line should be able to get you that 1 yard. You got to kick somebody's butt in front of you to get that 1 yard. Like, you have to. It comes down to either you gonna kick their butt to get that 1 yard, or they gonna kick yours. And Ezekiel Elliott is running the ball. Ezekiel Elliott, a nice, powerful running back. If y'all look, Jason Garrett got to go anyway, because I know a lot of people talk about Marvin Lewis. I know Stephen A. Smith be on there talking about Marvin Lewis, and large degree I agree with him. Marvin Lewis does get the Bengals to the playoffs, but they don't go no further than that. But Jason Garrett is barely getting the Cowboys in the playoffs. I believe the Cowboys made the playoffs since Jason Garrett been there maybe 4 times. And I believe Jason Garrett been the coach for the last, 10 years, 10, 11, 12 years? That's unacceptable. But we all know a reason why Jason Garrett is still the coach. Because nobody with his resume should still be the coach. I remember when Lovie Smith for the Bears, he went to a Super Bowl, had the Bears in the playoffs. I think Lovie Smith was there like 10 years. The Bears went to the playoffs like 4 times. He had a Super Bowl appearance. And that last year that Lovie Smith got fired, guess how many games he won? He won 10 games the year he got fired. Jason Garrett doesn't even have close to that resume that Lovie Smith had, and he's still coaching the Cowboys. It's because, you know what I'm saying, the owner, Jerry Jones, loved Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett was the backup to the Troy Aikman back in the Dallas Cowboy glory days of winning the Super Bowl. He was the backup. But Jerry Jones loved Jason Garrett, and he can run the team through Jason Garrett. Because a lot of coaches that Jerry Jones hires is not going to let him have that much input into the team, because it's not good for the owner, to me, to have that much input. The owner should own. You hire people, you know what I'm saying? You put them in place to help make your franchise successful. If you're going to always be the front man, then don't hire nobody. Don't hire anyone to do the job. You do the job. Jerry Jones just need to be the coach. Jerry Jones need to come down at the owner's box and just coach the team, man. And because that's what he want to do. But you know what I'm saying? That's my take on week 5. I'm about to do some week 6 picks, man. These gonna be my week 6 picks. I may do another video for that week 6. But I'm out, y'all. Subscribe to the channel, man. Let me know what y'all think, and let me know who y'all favorite team is. And if your team doing good, let me know. Mine is the Chicago Bears. I'm out.